a lot of times we eat at home, we cook, and we try to save money. But anytime I'm in Chinatown, like I try to tip. And
Same here. We all do that.
Yeah.
And I love that we get to highlight and see the good part of humanity, but we cannot choose just to look at those things as if the problems do not exist. We cannot bury our heads in the sand. At some point, we have to acknowledge that this is a problem. Because if we keep saying it'll be okay, one day that problem is going to be at your doorstep. It's a major problem. Women are getting raped, thrown into subway tracks, assaulted, and it's alarming at at the frequency that this is occurring. And it cannot keep continuing this way. It can't, because if we don't do something about this to curb this rising crime rate, it's only going to get worse, and it's going to attract other actors like it.
Lucky Boys Podcast.
You know, so many people just try to take advantage of it.
Is that human nature? I feel like it's
I don't know if it's human nature, because I don't really hear stories like that outside of New York. When I leave to and I love New York City, man. You know, born and raised, bred here, so don't think otherwise what I'm saying. But I'm speaking the truth. As a New Yorker, when I left New York, I couldn't believe how friendly people were. I had strangers coming up to me to say hi, people offering to help me. You know, it was just, I was blown away, specifically when I was down south, right? Yes, I do know that there was a lot of racism down there.
Did you feel that?
And they have
you felt it for sure.
For sure. But I feel here too.
Yeah, that's true. But not as much.
But here is just more mask. Yeah. But I can tell you, I can tell.
Yeah.
You know, when someone...
so it wasn't masked like down in the South. Here,
I get like soft racism. It's either extreme, like, well, once in a while, I'll get like an extreme type of racism, right? Or I hear someone that where it's happened to, like, oh, you whatever, Asian, da da da, especially during COVID, right? Mm-hmm. But before that, or even now, it's very subtle, soft racism, right? You go down south, it's way more in your face. It's just different, right? But I'm speaking to the friendliness of the environment. I just don't see. I see more of that hospitality, that Southern hospitality to speak of. And over here, just the amount of crime that has occurred during the pandemic, during such a shitty situation, to try to point fingers and then just launch an all-out hate attack or take advantage of certain people. I mean, that to me is just, it's tough to see, you know, pushing people into subway tracks, attacking women, children, elders, people who can't fight back, or 12 people on one person. I mean, wow. I mean, to the point where they had to rob him and even take his underwear. I mean, when you hear so much of this in the news cycle, it's one, you become jaded because it happens so much. You just don't care as long as it's not happening to you or anyone else you love. Or two, you just say, fuck it, man. I fucking hate people.
Yeah.
You know, I fucking hate people.
You're just so tired, man. You're just so tired of hearing all this. And
you're
just so scared at the same time, you know?
But I don't think that's a true reflection of a community, right? Because we hear these stories because, you know, people want the best soundbite. So obviously, and they want the viewership. So they're going to report on these things and not really report on the things that the community is doing to help each other. You know, like you said before, there are organizations, there are people helping each other, creating food drives, you know, delivering food to the elderly and all these things. These things should be the driving force that we need to hear as young individuals, so that we are inspired to do things to help others, right? Not this shit. Yeah, we should be aware. We should be focused on like protecting our elderly, our mothers, our fathers, because I mean, we all have skin in the game. My parents still live down here, right, in this community, and our families do. So we have to be vigilant, you know, but we also have to fight, you know, to keep that humanity, because when we come out of this, are we gonna be changed as people, where we're gonna be so jaded that, you know, considering like fuck everyone? Yeah. No, I don't want to come out like that.
I mean, not us. I don't think like there's people like, I think what we see outside is, and we do see a lot of good though. You're right, those food drives, and you know the line is down the block, 2 blocks, and they're still willing to, you know, help out, and it was like a everyday type of thing, and that was very nice to see. And we see a lot of especially even in my industry, in the taxi industry. That's why I've been working with Taxi Workers Alliance, and because they care, you know, they care, and they see the defeat in these drivers' eyes, and I was like, hey, look, I gotta try to help too, you know, if I can, any way I can. And yeah, same thing with Chinatown. I do feel like I try to eat in Chinatown when we can, but we also, you know, a lot of times we eat at home, we cook, and we try to save money. But anytime I'm in Chinatown, like I try to tip. And
same here. We all do that. And I love that we get to highlight and see the good part of humanity, but we cannot choose just to look at those things as if the problems do not exist. We cannot bury our heads in the sand. At some point, we have to acknowledge that this is a problem. Because if we keep saying it'll be okay, one day that problem is going to be at your doorstep. So we have to figure out as a community how to stop it together, either with police, with the city officials. We need to get together and figure it out, because right now, there is a major problem in New York City with crime. It's a major problem. Women are getting raped, thrown into subway tracks, assaulted, and it's alarming at how at the frequency that this is occurring. And it cannot keep continuing this way. It can't, because if we don't do something about this to curb this rising crime rate, it's only going to get worse, and it's going to attract other actors like it. So there's a election season coming up for New York City. Make sure you press your city council or your mayor, and you understand what they are trying to go for. Don't go for them just because they're a brand name. Figure out what they stand for. Really, really listen to them. And if what they addresses your views, and then look at their track record if they have one, right? To see if they do fight for the small guy, if they do fight for people like you within your community. Don't just vote for them because the herd is voting for them, and don't just vote for them because they're more famous than someone else. Really dig into their politics. Really dig into their character and integrity. Because New York City desperately, now more than ever, moving into the future, needs a good forward path.
I think a progressive path as well too.